Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is finally Fiendish Friday. Yes, folks, TGIF is finally upon us. First and foremost, I do hope each and every one of you have a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that lovely stuff, because life is too short as is. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I love seeing each and every one of you every Monday through Friday, permitting my schedule and holidays, of course. And then please also do me a huge favor and check out the description box for more information on the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, your starring cast, the runtime of the cut I am watching, an MPAA rating if there is one, the director, the year it was made, some trivia on it if there is anything worthwhile mentioning, and then a link for a trailer or a scene in the movie. It is very rare that I don't have one. It's about 98% I have a trailer, 1% I have a scene, and then actually it'd be like 1.5% I have a scene, and then a 0.0005 I don't have anything. It's pretty rare, but do always look in that description box for more information. I cannot stress that enough. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's get on to the movie of the day. Yes, folks. This one came out back in 2010. It is released by Severance Films, and it is none other than the Video Nasties Definitive Guide Volume 1. I watched this for the documentary Video Nasties Moral Panic, Censorship and Videotape, which came out was filmed in 2010. So it is a very extensive, very in-depth documentary slash series here. So it's a hefty little beast. It is, open it up here. It is 3 standard issue pressed DVDs. There is count it, 0 reversible artwork. You got the documentary that I am talking about today. You get a little bit of a it's like an hour long. I don't know why I'm saying a little bit. An hour long feature of nothing but the opening sequences for every label that distributed these video nasties throughout time. There is still galleries. Discs 2 and 3 are absolutely top notch as well. They both go over the even more in depth on each title, all 72 titles. It is absolutely stunning piece of work, and I can't say anything wrong about this. The discs 2 and 3 are where the pure gold is. I love the documentary on disc 1, but I like the more in-depth interviews that they give. Some of these people give for each film, because they do get some extremely smart people to do these interviews. Like they got Stephen Thrower, Kim Newman, a bunch of other people, reviewers slash writers that I look up to. Guys that know the game, have been around the game for years. They can tell you the ins and outs of every movie. It feels like that every movie pre 2000. It's insane. They probably know more about after post 2000 as well. But either way, they're reviewers I look up to. I would love to have the knowledge that these guys have. It's just insane how much stuff these guys just know about these films. One of my favorite in-depth parts on here is on Cannibal Holocaust. They do an amazing top-notch job for that one. Every title, to be quite honest, they bring in somebody to give a nice little opening intro to each and every one of them, and they talk about little things about the film. Very like I keep saying, in depth. It is perfectly done. Now, as far as any other special features, that's about it. Like I said, I believe there's some still galleries on there. On here it says 13 hours and 58 minutes worth of content on here. So there is, yeah, 14 hours worth of content. That is a lot of stuff. That's most of a day. I didn't go through all of it this morning. I've gone through it over time. It took me like 3 or 4 days when I originally watched this back in like 2012, I think 2013, whenever they released this. Um, which, by the way, definitely check out Volume 2 as well. It goes over the Section 3 list, which is got some amazing stuff on there as well. But it is very, very well made. As far as what the documentary is about, you get people from both sides of not the ballot, but the battle, I guess I would say. You get people that are pro censorship, and then you get the people that were all about preserving the artists' films. You know, their freedom of expression, their freedom of speech. You know, they were some of the best people that you could have behind you when it came to being in a modern day witch hunt, is the way I would look at it as. Now, as far as like they get the Graham Bright is one of those that they have on here that he talks every once in a while. He was one of those a member of parliament that was all about censoring them, and he presented a bill about how these labels would have to present the cover artwork from their films beforehand so that they could approve or disapprove of it. Because that was one of the first things that led into the rise of the video nasties, is these really graphic, grotesque, grueling artworks that came along, and stuff like from Driller Killer, where you got a drill going in somebody's skull, to Cannibal Holocaust, where the guy's eating guts, yeah, whatever, the Grim Reaper. That one's another great one where he's eating his own guts. You get a lot of stuff that was so gruesome and gnarly that the censors were going crazy, especially the Driller Killer one. They talked about that one, and Eaten Alive, aka Death Trap, which is the Toby Hooper kind of slasher. I don't know if I call it a slasher. It's an interesting one. It's about a man who completely goes off his rocker, and he starts killing people and feeding them to his gator. It's pretty good movie. I'm not gonna lie. It's got a very young Robert Englund in it as well. And if you have not seen it, definitely go out and check out a copy. I reviewed it months and months ago, I believe, if memory serves me correct. It's one that I thoroughly enjoy, and I'm a huge Toby Hooper fan myself. And he had a few films that were on this video nasties sections one, 2, and 3 lists. He had a few films that reached that. Besides that, Chainsaw Massacres, I believe, went unscathed, mostly because there is very little blood. There's little to none. You know, it's not a very graphic movie. People just feel like they've seen things that aren't there. But anyways, it is a very good documentary. You get what's his name? James Ferman is his name, and he was a very good person to have on the side of these filmmakers, because he was one of the first people to really stand up and say, "Hey, you know what? You're censoring people when they should have the right to free speech." That is not how we do things here in this country. We're not in a third world dictatorship, one of those kind of ordeals. This isn't the draconian days, which it turned out being the draconian days. But it's just astonishing how these people thought that watching movies would turn us into depraved serial killer, animal killer, just beasts. These savages. They thought we would turn into, literally. It blows my mind that anybody was dumb enough to think that a movie could do that. Um, one of my favorite ones that they talked about on here was Snuff, and they bit that one hook, line, and sinker on it being an actual snuff film at the very end of it, which in all actualities it is extremely laughable special effects that are not convincing at all. And these people, I don't know what generation of a VHS they saw it on, but it must have been degraded so much that they couldn't tell, or I'm guessing they'd already made up their minds on what they wanted to see, and that's all they were going to see is that, one of those kind of ordeals. It's kind of saddening in ways. It's angering on top of it. I get angrier more than anything because that's one of our major rights that would be taken away if they were to decide and just start going through our houses and removing movies and books, because they were removing when they would remove these movies, they would go and they would burn and torch them. It was like the Nazi days when they were book burning. It was scary times to be a filmmaker and a person that ran a local video store, because they would raid these video stores, these mom and pop video stores, because the big corporations hadn't taken over and come in yet. It was just mom and pop shops that had basically bought a whole case, a couple cases worth of VHSs, and they were, renting them off. They would be in these tiny little, almost like garage sized shops, these little hole in the wall shops where they would go in and they would not only seize the tapes of this poor video store. They would also take it. They would also shut them down, and arrest and more than likely persecute the person that was distributing these films. So they talked about how people actually did time, and it is scary to think that. Ruggero Deodato almost did time for Cannibal Holocaust because people were coming forward saying, "Oh, this is nothing but a snuff film, this and that," because that found footage stuff was real and this and that. And nobody heard from the actors, but in actuality the actors had signed contracts to go and basically just disappear and go do their own thing and not do any films for X amount of time. It's scary that would happen. So one of the most recent things that did that was the Blair Witch Project. They had their actors do something very similar. It thankfully didn't blow up. I mean, it didn't blow up in Ruggiero's face. It created more hype and more more people wanting to watch it. It's astonishing. All right, guys. Anyways, now I want to get on to my ratings for this thing. As far as the technical side goes, this thing's a probably a 5 out of 5. It is a perfect piece of documentary. I never get bored in it. I can see how some people would probably, because it is all done. It is in places it does get a little monotone, especially with people like Graham Bright. I find him uh, I wanted to punch him in the mouth. He angered me a lot because he was one of those morons that felt like he was doing us all a huge justice by stopping these films from being uh, distributed. When they were coming up with false statistics, like there was one that it was so laughable. I all I could do was shake my head. It was like 40% of 6-year-olds have seen a video nasty or have seen multiple video nasties. Um, I don't know what 6-year-old is watching video nasties. At that time, they were hard to come across. So the chances of a 6-year-old having the money, the time, and the resources to find a video nasty is pretty limited. And then you add on the fact that, oh, maybe they saw one of their parents ones, something along those lines. But it was very staggering, the numbers that they were coming up with. Like 90% of all kids turn out to be bad after watching this and that, and they could explain all kinds of crimes due to it. A guy was a serial killer because he owned a couple video nasties, or he said he'd watched a couple here and there, shit like that. A modern day it was a modern day witch hunt, and these people that were part of censoring this are extremely evil people. Those are the kind of people that are real villains in this world, and they really shouldn't be taken lightly, and we should do everything we can to not be behind their rule, because they are the ones that are deciding what we can and can't do in our lives. And I don't care who you are. I'm going to do whatever I want to do on my own. Just saying. Now, as far as an entertainment side, this thing's probably a 4 out of 5. This is like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 documentary, in my opinion. This is a stunning piece of work. I can't say anything bad about it. Go out and check it out. It's from Severance Films. I think their site's still down for the Black Friday stuff, but you can get this off of Amazon, and I believe Grindhouse and Diabolic Video or Diabolic DVD are both selling this as well. It is one that is very readily available. All right, guys, I love your faces, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I know I got another video nasty lined up, probably an Aussie flick, maybe a Christmas flick or two. I don't know yet. I know for sure there's going to be one in there. Love your faces. I'll see you on Monday.